So the good book, I believe, says the love of money is the root of all evil. And I'm very grateful it never mentioned premium because I do love collecting premium and I actually don't mind paying some premium. So just to begin, let's continue with our insurance idea that if you were a purchaser of insurance, in other words, you own the insurance policy, you're the owner of the insurance policy, you'd be the person that pays the premium. But if you wanted to get into the insurance business to make some money, be an insurance salesman, and have a company that made those promises, well, then you'd be the collector of the premium. So the best way, I really believe, is to take something you already understand and then apply it in a new way. And so if you can say to yourself, oh, I understand this. Here's a person with a car, and this man says, hey, I'll sell you a policy, and she says, okay, here's some money. Now I own this policy or contract or agreement or promise or guarantee. And this happens all the time. In fact, a way to think about this is just an agreement or what we sometimes call a contract. And so the idea of paying for or getting paid premium is actually an idea that most people can fathom. If you've ever paid money for insurance, you've paid insurance premiums. If you've ever sold insurance, you've collected insurance premiums. And this idea of paying for contract is very, very common because all it is a word for a guarantee. If this car gets wrecked now, this guy's a guarantee. People like guarantees. I like guarantees, so I don't mind paying premium for a guarantee. And I also like giving people guarantees, so I don't mind getting paid premium when I'm the one that is making the promise. And this happens all the time with promises and guarantees. So we just saw the example of a car where someone paid a premium to get protection for the car. Well, guess what? If I'm a renter, I could receive rent or I could pay rent. And all this is this is called a rental contract right here. This is called an insurance contract. But this is called a rental contract. It's just a promise, just an agreement. So look, I guarantee you, you got a place to live. You pay your rent. I'll give you a contract. Give you my promise, guaranteed. I'll give you the keys to this house. You can go in and live there. Just pay me the premium for the contract, right? So here we have an insurance contract that we're paying for, and here we have a rental contract that we're paying for. Well, guess what? We just finished puts and calls where we're just paying for a contract that guarantees a certain price in which we could trade at, buying or selling. So let's review that idea again. An option contract is just an agreement that gives the owner of the contract the choice, the right, or the power to trade their stocks at a set price. If they want to trade the stock as a buyer and buy the stock, that's a call option. If they want to trade the stock as a seller and say, I want to get rid of the stock at a guaranteed price, that's a put option. And we'll just do it over and over again. For me, this was hard for me. I'm telling you, I struggled to understand this. So I just kept reviewing and kept going. And sure enough. So you can see some money's changing hands, and that's what the premium is. So if it was rent, we call it rent with real estate, but with insurance, we call it a premium. And with options, we call it a premium. So let's do it this way. That's kind of fun because the amount of the value of that contract changes. And so this is a little bit sticky. Think of this as the premium as the price of the contract. That's a great way to think about it. The price of the contract. In other words, once you're the owner of a contract, you can now sell it. And what you're hoping is that maybe you pay a premium of $10 for the contract. Well, if the contract gets more valuable, maybe you can sell that for $20 later on. Just like you could buy a stock for 10 and sell it for 20. Well, maybe you can buy an option for a premium of 10 and sell it for a premium of 20. So premium can change based on what this contract is about. So we do an example. Sometimes examples help. Let's do an example, and this can be kind of fun. Here we have an option contract for some farmland. And we say, I want the choice to buy 100 acres on Rural Route 57 and I want this at $10 an acre, and this contract's good for 90 days. So if this were stock, it'd be a call because we want the choice to buy, okay? And the strike price is $10, right? We're going to do this at $10 per acre, right? So check this out. What would happen if after you had the choice to buy it for 10, that on this farm they discovered oil, right? That poor cow, look at this. That poor cow's sitting there, and now look, he's sitting up there, right? Got that oil well pushing him up in the air right there, right? Just this cow's moseying along, and boom, up goes the oil well. So that's pretty cool. So what is, if you now have, right, here you're this guy right here. If you paid some amount of money, whatever it was, to say, look, I wanted a guarantee to buy this at $10 an acre over here, right? $10 per acre. That's my buy price here. That's the price I locked in. That's the price that I wanted. That's a good deal. Well, whatever you paid for that, that's great. But think about this. Now that there's oil there, maybe Acme Oil over here is interested here. Well, here's what's interesting. Now, this is really important. Who should these guys talk to if they want to buy this and yank this oil out? Well, who owns the property right now? Well, the farmer's the owner, but they can't talk to the farmer. Why? Because you're the one that has control. You see, you paid that farmer a premium, some type of an amount. You paid him a premium for the right to buy this at $10 an acre, right? Well, guess what? This is now, to these guys, this might be worth, $1,000 an acre, right? So the value of this contract, whatever it was, you paid for it, just went up by, $990 per acre, right? So these guys are probably going to be willing to pay more for this contract than you did. Make sense? They're probably willing to pay more for this contract than you did. So maybe you said, hey, Farmer Jones, I'll give you $1,000 if you just give me 90 days to think about this and lock in my price at $10 an acre. Maybe you paid Farmer Jones $1,000, so he's happy he's got his $1,000 over here. But what do you have now? Well, you got the right to 100 acres of his farm at $10 an acre. All of a sudden, the oil well goes off, right? You're like, hey, this is awesome. These Acme guys say, well, who owns this? You say, well, the farmer owns it, but, you really have to talk to me because, I'm the one with the choice to buy it here. And so, what do you want to do here? How much do you want for this contract? And they say, well, my gosh, at $10 an acre, if it's worth $1,000 an acre now, 100 acres, well, 100 times 100, that's $10,000, whatever it is. So yeah, I'll, we'll do a deal. Whoops. We'll do a deal with you on this. This is giving me a little grief here on my action here. Let's see if I can get this back to where I want it to be. They say, hey, maybe we'll give you the difference, right? We'll give you $10,000 for this contract because that's what it's really worth. It can go the other way though. Let's say instead of getting oil, the farmer says, oh, whoops, this is a chemical nuclear leak spill on here or something. Well, you might have paid him $1,000 for the right to buy it at $10 an acre, but maybe the price is $0 an acre. Well, these guys will say, you know what, I don't want to buy it from you. And so, maybe you just lose your $1,000. That's the risk you run, right? And you can play this little game with darn near anything. You see that here you want to buy 100 shares of the stock in this company, XYZ for $10. And so you pay someone a premium. And the stock's trading at $10. Well, what if the stock goes down and it's Enron? Well, no one's going to want it. So that's the issue, isn't it? That's the issue, is this premium is going to change based on if the stock goes up or if the stock goes down. But what if the stock went up? Well, now it's worth $100, but by gosh, you can buy it for 10. Well, that's something called intrinsic value. We'll talk more about that. And now someone who thinks the stock is even going to go higher, Well, they might pay you even more for this now. So, who decides this and who facilitates this? Well, we already decided in our technical analysis section that the stocks were traded by a specialist or a market maker. Well, the same is true in the options market. And so what these guys do is they make these options very liquid. So it's important. I never have to touch the stock. I just need the right to buy the stock. You'll notice in all these examples, especially the best one might be the real estate example, is, this person never actually owns the real estate. He just has the right to, just the right to own the real estate. And he probably says, you know what, here's the contract. This is what it looks like. I have the right to buy it at 10. I'll sell you this contract. They say, oh, we'll give you $10,000 for that, man. That's what it's worth. So that's why the market maker is important, is they provide liquidity, an individual or company, an institution that stands ready to maintain. They'll do the buying and selling. And so that introduces something called an option chain. And what the option chain does is tell you what these are. So here's the calls, and right here's the premium. And you'll notice that we're going to get into strike price here in a minute, but you'll notice here that we're going to strike a deal at $100. And the calls have a bid price and an ask price and a mark that's in between the two usually. So if you can't remember how the bid and ask work, just go back to the technical analysis section where we explain this. Is the market maker basically says, hey, these sellers right here want to collect the premium. And so they say, hey, give us $279, for this. And that's what they receive. And the buyers say, well, I'll pay what you asked, $285, and the market maker, gets the spread. If you shave the spread, you ask for what's in between. Usually the last one's traded as the mark, somewhere in between. So if you don't remember that spread and that bid and the ask, go back to the technical analysis section and review that. But it's the same idea. Just remember that mark. That's the midpoint usually between the two. And there you go. So now that we understand premium, these guys say, hey, look, we want the choice to buy the stock. We'll strike a deal at $100, right? Or we want to be the person making that promise. We're absolutely willing to do this deal at $100, but we want to receive this money, right? This is your premium right here, right? These are your premium numbers. The ask, the bid, and the midpoint is the mark. So, if they were to put a deal together, someone's going to make, $2.79, and someone's going to pay $2.85, and the market maker's going to split the spread, or maybe you try to negotiate down to $2.82. That's fine. When we come back, we're going to start talking about the strike price. That's the price you do the deal out, that you shake hands at, and with that, we'll move on. We'll take a little break, come back, talk a little bit about strike prices and how that affects the option value.